Happy Sunday, everybody. Andy, Corbin, and Steve from WagerTalk.com. Welcome to the Road to Millions on September 24th. We have a ton to get to. We're going to be breaking down player props and all the line moves. We're going to go over the same game parlays that we love today, along with the alt lines. We've got some anytime touchdown scores for you. Steve's got a few extra for there today. We got some weather we're going to go over, but it does not look like the weather is going to be bad. And please give us a like. And if you have not given me your Survivor Pool pick for Week 3, put it in the comment section. I got to update that spreadsheet. Still a few of you out there that have advanced from Week 2 that I have not gotten your picks from. So leave it in the comment section below. And also tell us your favorite prop. There are so many good props out there. We had trouble narrowing it down. So let us know your favorite props, and let's get into it. Guys, I really want to go over the weather here, but we're going to go over the player props along with some of the line moves. Nothing too crazy moving in the props market that I see. The same game parlays, alt lines, anytime touchdown scores, and the 3 best bets. I want to give credit to Kevin Roth on Twitter. He's at Roto Grinders. This is where I'm getting the weather report from, so I just want to go over some of the weather. Indy and Baltimore, that looked like it was not going to be a good weather day, but it's kind of blown over, and the report is 5 to 10 mile an hour winds. The rain is cleared up. If anything, it's just kind of a drizzle or maybe a little bit of a shower here or there, but no heavy stuff, and that's a big change. I liked some of the props in this game, was worried about the weather, so it looks like it's a full go, especially into the second half. Second half looks like it's going to be clear. New Orleans, Green Bay, rain should be fine. The one with the most worry is the Patriots and the Jets, but even that one it's not that bad. 10 to 15 mile an hour winds, gusts up to 25, but they're in a stadium. If you guys know me, one of my favorite things I like is when people worry about winds at like 20 miles an hour when they're inside a stadium. And I don't know if you guys noticed, there's walls around the stadium that block a lot of the wind. The rain looks like it's if it is going to rain, it'll be there kind of short of kickoff, but then during the game a little bit. But again, not too crazy. Nothing as bad as what it looked like on Friday. Denver and Miami, they are going to have scattered afternoon storms. That's the worry, is you could see lightning or thunder. Maybe there's a small chance of that. So, but really nothing too bad in that one unless there's a pop-up thunderstorm, but the field should be fine. Buffalo, Washington, the website says the bulk of the rain is long gone. A little bit of drizzle, no winds. Conditions are actually pretty good. So field condition, they said, maybe worry a little bit, but there should be a full go on that one. Carolina and Seattle, it's Seattle. So, that's your weather report. It's Seattle. There might be some rain in the game. Very, very light. Nothing too bad. If there is heavy stuff, it's going to be towards the end of the game. Chicago, Kansas City looks good. And Philadelphia, Tampa, chance for a couple showers, but nothing too bad. So, overall, it's a really good weather report for games and for player props if you're liking overs. So, let's get into some of these player props, guys, that we liked, and I'll just start with rushing and receiving. Let's talk Brian Robinson. Both of you guys liked him here. Without even, I don't even think we talked about him. But Steve, Corbin, you liked him. Steve, you go first. What'd you like about Brian Robinson?
Well, he's went over his rushing total in both weeks, and we were kind of talking about potentially combining his rushing plus receiving because Corbin had liked his receiving. It's against the Bills, you think that the running back might not be a good look considering game script, but he's just getting so much usage here and he's not. Antonio Gibson hasn't even barely touched the ball. So with all the usage he's getting, it's such a low total that he should be able to clear it in this game, even if he's playing from behind.
Yeah, so that might be a good look. Gibson had some catches last week. It was kind of in, kind of catch-up mode and hurry-up mode. So, but Brian Robinson has definitely got more usage than I thought he was going to get. A couple of rushing yards props that I like. Raheem Mostert, 64.5. I think he just has a good day against Denver with no Jalen Waddle. Corbin, sorry, you can't play your Jalen Waddle over.
Yeah, that hurts this week.
So, a little surprised that Dameon Pierce rushing total went up to 45.5. There's no chance I'm taking it over on a Houston Texan running back. I'm staying away from the rushing props in the Colts and the Ravens. I really don't know what the Colts are going to do, and the Ravens. I don't know. I just think they throw. I've broken record on this one, but uh, Falcons and the Lions. I thought the Lions defense looked pretty good in week one, and then they did not. So if you're a believer that the Lions does not look good, I mean, you got a really nice number on Bijan Robinson. And honestly, if you don't like the Lions defense, I think this Tyler Algier 46.5 could be really, really sneaky. You're getting 22 yards less than Bijan Robinson when, Algier is getting plenty of touches.
I really like the look of Desmond Ridder's rushing over 16.5. It was just there. I think he can have quite a few good scrambles, particularly I expect the Lions to put up some points, so I think he might need to make some things happen. I think he could scramble for way over 16, so that's one I was looking at.
Well, the Falcons would prefer him run rather than throw. We've been down that road before. The other one I like, Josh Kelly, over 60.5. I mean, he's the man there. There's no Austin Eckler, and the Vikings, their defense is terrible. I do not have an explanation for why Alexander Madison is at 50.5 rushing yards. He's been awful. He barely touches the ball. This is a terrible Chargers passing. We'll get into that. I'll let Steve dissect that one when we do his best bet. But the Alexander Madison under has just been a cash cow. And then finally, Jerome Ford, 45.5. I'm not really a believer. I know he came in and he had he had one massive run. Other than that, he was terrible. And this is a Tennessee Titans team that you can throw on, but it's really tough to run on. So I am kind of looking some of those unders for the rushing. Receiving yards. Here's where we all were kind of in agreement on a lot of those. Corbin, do you have any thoughts on Tyreek Hill 91.5 without Jalen Waddle there? It's creeping up, but it's kind of one of those like, can they even put it high enough? I like Durham Smythe at 28.5. I talked about Durham Smythe at 26.5. I still like him at 28.5 now that Waddle's out. Tyreek 91.5, too high or keep firing?
For me, it's a stay away, just in the fact of they can double or even triple Tyreek Hill, like without Waddle. That just to take some pressure off him. It's like they're just going to watch Tyreek like a hawk, but you have to feel they're going to get in the ball somehow. So
yeah, and Steve, you talked about Jerry Jeudy, only 1 yard line movement. Still like it?
Yeah, I'm still on board with that one. He's I'm looking at a big usage increase here this week. He's went over in 10 of his last 13 games, and the big thing for this one for me was the Dolphins struggling with the slot receivers. Xavier Howard will be busy with Cortland Sutton, and that's going to free up Jerry Jeudy in the middle of this game. And game script favors him catching some extra passes down the stretch as well. And actually, I'm sorry to circle back to if we were going to talk running backs. It's kind of like a running back, because it's the Sanders one, Miles Sanders play I've been talking about. Over 2.5 receptions at plus 2.5 receptions at plus 100. I love this one. He's went over both weeks with 3 and 4. Dalton, short yardage quarterback, and the Seahawks. The big one with this one is Seahawks dead last in blitz percentage, and Frank Reich teams the running back targets double when there's no blitz from the opposing side, and we've seen Sanders 11 targets. None have been during the blitz. So look for Seattle not to blitz this game. Look for Dalton to use Sanders, as like a short yardage safety blanket.
I love Nico Collins. Still do at 52.5. The weather looks like it should be fine here. 52.5. I just love it. I'm stunned. It's short of 60. He's the number one wide receiver there. So,
yeah.
It's a great one.
Yeah, really happy with that one. I would also look at C.J. Stroud. We'll look at a couple of the quarterbacks here. And then, just keep going with these wide receivers that have great matchups. And there's these teams we keep talking about that have really good rush defenses and terrible secondaries. Zay Flowers, 50.5. I still love this one. I keep saying my Colts can't stop anybody. Number one wide receivers have torched the Colts. They both have had over 100 yards and a touchdown, so I think you're getting a gift at 50.5.
And with Odell Beckham being out as well,
Yeah,
freeze him up even more. So.
Justice Hill's not there. Yeah, we got a lot going on and a lot to like in that one game. Steve, you want to touch here on the Vikings here and just talk about how horrific the Chargers pass defense. So this is another one where pretty good rush defense and just absolutely terrible pass defense. So you like Jordan Addison. We like some alt lines on Justin Jefferson, right?
Yeah, there's a lot to like here, and we'll talk about it in the best bet, a touchdown segment as well. But for this one, we'll talk about Addison going over his receiving total. The Chargers have the worst pass defense in the NFL, most yards per game, most yards per play. Vikings come into this one with the worst rushing attack. You talked about Madison, only 34.5 yards per game out of the Vikings. Highest total of the week. Both teams 0-2. Both teams losing one-score games in both of their games across the board. So it just favors a shootout where both teams are going to be fighting hard towards the end of it. And Addison has cleared this total with 61 and 72 against stiffer defenses in the Eagles and the Bucks.
Let's see. Titans and Browns. I like Amari Cooper to have a pretty good day. Again, this just falls right back into the fade these bad secondaries. So we've got Amari Cooper in a parlay. I used his alt line at 50. The Titans have already allowed 50-plus yards to 5 wide receivers through 2 games, which is almost mathematically impossible. Yet somehow
they managed it.
So this goes back to fading Jerome for brushing and just look at throwing the ball. I think 57.5 is a really good number there. Steve, any thoughts on the vaunted passing attacks of the Patriots and Jets?
Yeah, this is a stay away from you. This is a real big stay away. We'll talk about the Patriots defense. I'd look maybe towards a Wilson INT. It's pretty juicy though, but yeah, I'm not going any. You really almost can't go over or under on any of these. Hunter Henry has been great, caught a touchdown in back-to-back weeks. You could look his way, but we have weather issues. Both teams with great defenses. This one is going to be. This could be the week we see that Patriots defensive TD. Let's just say that.
Corbin, you follow the Packers. You know them a little bit more. I mean, the Saints are down to nothing in their running game. Jamal Williams is on IR. We got one more week without Alvin Kamara. I don't know. Is there any? The Packers' pass defense, is it pretty decent? Is there value in Chris Olave or Michael Thomas?
See, it all depends who Jair Alexander is going to cover. Whichever one he covers, they're going to go over, but the one that he doesn't cover is probably likely to go over. So I imagine he's going to target Olave, so maybe a Michael Thomas week. But I'm also looking at Musgrave, just above it, over 26.5 for the Packers. I think he's a really important weapon for Jordan Love. So those short down yardage where he can get little throws to him, I think it's pretty good. So,
Steve brought up Panthers and the Seahawks. You've got Adam Thielen. So Andy Dalton's going to be quarterback here, maybe for a couple weeks. So, I mean, if you like the checkdowns, you're absolutely looking at Miles Sanders. I mean, Steve, if you like over 2.5, you got to love 14.5. We love totals like this. I mean, that's one play.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. If it's going to be check down city here for Dalton, he was already being used in short yardage situations. They had brought him in twice in 4th down short yardage situations. We know he's going to be checking down, and they're going to try to probably play it close to the vest here and keep it low scoring, and try to just target his short yardage safety blankets.
Corbin, you really liked Cole Kmet. Bears,
I do.
Yeah, Bears at the Chiefs. This one surprised me. What do you like about Cole Kmet?
I mean, we'll get onto it when we get to the same game parlay, but I like that he's had 5 and 4 receptions, so he's clearly getting the ball. He's had 44 and 38 yards in the game so far. Being at Kansas, I have to expect they're going to have to put up points, so he's going to have to throw, even though he can't. So Cole Kmet seems like a good weapon for him to use at such a low total. So
like it. We'll do some quarterback props here, and then we'll move on to the other ones. I've talked about this one, but if this is your first time watching me this week, I just love the Deshaun Watson over 30.5. This line has moved juice-wise. They haven't moved it to 31.5. There's a guy that had 29 in the first week in a complete blowout. He had 40 last week against the Steelers. and they don't have Nick Chubb. After Nick Chubb went out, they threw the ball 54% of the time. Again, Titans, great rush defense, terrible pass defense. So I would love Deshaun Watson over here. We saw him last. We had a bet on him to go over his rushing. He looked like a statue. He couldn't take off and run. He did. He looked terrible.
Yeah.
You can see him throwing
and
the
those
ball.
2 penalties that he got because of it as well.
Yeah, over half a face mask, a 15-yard penalty here. So I like the pass attempts there. So let's see. Corbin, any other quarterbacks that you like this week?
Not really. Nothing really standing out. I was
right.
looking at Gardner Minshew. I like over 215. That was one that I was considering at a point in time. So.
All right, Steve, you want to save Kirk Cousins for best bet?
Yeah, I will, but I'll talk about Zach Wilson just for the pick. I know it's negative 200, and you could use it as a parlay piece, but I still think it's worthy of just a small sprinkle of a play. The Patriots own him. Obviously we talked about the Patriots winning 14 straight against the Jets. In his 4 games against New England, the Patriots have had 7 interceptions, 11 sacks, tons of quarterback pressures. Belichick is in this guy's head, and there's going to be a little bit of weather in this game now. It's going to be sloppy, and talk about the potential for a defensive touchdown here, but I feel like a Wilson interception is surely happening today.
And you can easily put it in. I'm the same game parlay guy, but you could easily put that with a Jets team total under to bring it down slightly from minus 200 if that's the route you want to go. So
yeah, it's a minus 200. It's in that no man's land. Like, yeah, you could lay the juice or find something else to put with it. So
yeah.
All right,
I actually do have another piece too. Zach Ertz over 3.5 receptions this week is negative 160 last time I checked. And if you look at it, he's had 6 receptions in both games so far, and he's on the field 70% of the snaps, and they've targeted tight ends more than any other team. The Cardinals have targeted 28 tight end targets, and against Dallas, the game script favors him getting some looks. They've given up some tight end touchdowns, and it basically favors him. The game script favors him getting some extra looks down the stretch.
All right, guys. What do we have up today? 5% NFL best bet, 23-9. We have not lost one of these this season, 2-0. So really proud of that. It is ready to go, locked and loaded at WagerTalk.com. Just grab that on the profile page. It'll come with all of our other bets today, including some of the props that we've talked about that we deem worthy of being official plays. So go grab that. We're having a great football season. We're well over, what are we at, 12 units now, I believe, after the Thursday night cash. So looking for a really, really big Sunday here. So go grab that 5% best bet at WagerTalk.com. All right, Corbin. It's time to go to the alternate universe. Let's do the alternate universe first. You were fantastic. I mean, you had the Colts, 49ers, and the Giants, and they all won outright.
Yeah.
So,
certainly helps when you have +3 and +7. I mean, Giants one was making me sweat, but even towards the end, when they were making the comeback, even if they didn't fully complete it, I felt like they were going to cover 7. So, yeah, pretty good all round.
all right, talk to us. What do you like in week 3 here?
So I like the Cowboys -3, Chiefs -3, and the Rams +10. So quite honestly, the Cowboys have been very dominant so far. They're good on both sides of the ball. Playing the Cardinals, who we just mentioned, choked their huge lead versus the Giants. Have to feel that they're just so much better than them. I can't see the Cardinals putting up that many points again. So going to go with the Cowboys -3 there. Kansas City, again, they're just playing the Bears, who are just an awful side at Arrowhead. You have to feel that they at least win by 3. I mean, surely. And then the Rams have actually surprised me a bit. I mean, to get +10, they've looked quite solid, even in their defeat to the 49ers, where they kicked that field goal to cover the +7.5. I have to feel that they're good enough on both sides of the ball, particularly with Stafford, to cover a +10. So the Bengals are really struggling at the minute. Who knows if Burrow's going to play. Even if he does, he's got the injured calf. He doesn't look sharp. It kind of looks all over the place. So I'll take a +10 on any team basically playing the Bengals at the minute. So even better that it's the Rams. So
love it. Love that. So you got the Cowboys -3, the Chiefs -3, and the Rams +10. Final price is -145. All right, same game parlays. You got 3 here that you wanted to talk about. I know I think my favorite is the Texans and the Jaguars, but I like all of them. Go ahead and talk about the Bears and the Chiefs to start off with.
So as I just mentioned, I think the Chiefs are going to dominate. The Bears have had 17 and 20 points so far, so I can't think that they're suddenly going to make it to 27.5. The Chiefs have only allowed 21 and 9 points, so it gives us quite a nice margin for error. With the Chiefs getting over 20.5, they basically need 3 touchdowns or 2 and some field goals. Kelsey's had an extra couple of weeks back in practice. He's had his first game to get the cobwebs off. So I think we're going to see a much improved version of them. Mentioned Cole Kmet earlier, but again, I'm expecting Fields to have to throw. Kmet's been a good safety blanket with 5 and 4 receptions for 44 and 38 yards. So to get over 14.5 seemed pretty good here. So that's that one. We'll move on to the Chargers and the Vikings. Again, we've mentioned it. I think it's going to be a shootout. I'm expecting the Justin Herbert to torch the Vikings. Without Eckler, I think, even though I like Kelly, I expect them to go through the air more often here. The Vikings have given up 34 and 20 points. 20 points to the Bucks. I have to feel like the Chargers at least get over 16.5 there. The Chargers have had 34 and 24 this year. Steve mentioned Addison. He's had 61 and 72. Again, in a shootout, you have to feel Cousins is going to be throwing the ball. He's a pretty good weapon considering they're going to try and lock up Justin Jefferson. And then you've mentioned Mattison. I was looking over his stats. So he's had 34 rushing, 28 rushing, and his highest last year was only 54. So to get 74.5, that's quite a lot in a game that I'm expecting to be a shootout. I don't see much rushing at all from him. So I like that at -110 for those 3 combined. And then we'll move on to the one that you said is your favorite, the Texans and the Jags. So we've already mentioned Collins a bit here, but he's Stroud's favorite target. He's the clear wide receiver 1. He's had 6 and 7 receptions for 80 and 146 yards. So to get over 39.5, basically to get 40, seems pretty good there. And then what else do we have? So the next 2 are the Jags over 1.5 touchdowns, kind of goes together with the over 19.5. If they're going to get to 20, you would expect they have to get at least 2 touchdowns here. So the Texans defense is not great. I'm expecting a bounce back game from the Jags after only scoring 9 versus the Chiefs. And they got 31 points in the head-to-head last year. So at -140, that seems like a good combination for me. So.
Well, the Texans are allowing 3 rushing touchdowns a game.
And we need 2 total.
we only need a couple there, so I love that one. Those are some really great same-game parlays to look at. Great work there on that one, Corbin. So, alrighty, so those are your same-game parlays. There's your alt universe. Steve, anytime touchdown scores. We've got our every week bets that we sprinkle, and you've got 4 for the week 2 anytime touchdown, and we're so close to hitting the pay dirt parlay. Like we've just barely missed it the last couple weeks. Love this one this week. So just briefly go over the every week bets in case this is their first time joining us, and give us your week 2 anytime touchdowns in the pay dirt parlay.
So last week we hit our best bet on Barkley for the touchdown segment. And again, hit 2 out of the 3 on the pay dirt parlay. Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't get the job done for us. We got it with McCaffrey and Barkley. The week before it was Josh Jacobs that stumbled for us, but we'll try to get it done this week. The Patriots defensive touchdown every week bet, we're sticking with it. Hasn't happened yet, but this is the week for it. We talked about Zach Wilson. This is going to be a defensive ball game where with a little bit of weather now that we keep talking about that will be involved. I know it won't be too as bad as we thought it would be, but Belichick is in Wilson's head. This basically sets up for a Wilson pick and run back. We could see a fumble recovery, anything here, and to get it at plus 700 again, I'm pretty happy with that. Dotson at plus 310. He hasn't gotten the job yet done either, but we have him playing the Bills this week. The Commanders should have to throw a little bit down the stretch. He was pretty close in both weeks to getting the job done. We'll stick with him here, but I'm really excited about the Patriots' chances. If you haven't jumped on this one yet, you haven't had to take either one of the two losses, and this is the week that really sets up for them to get the job done. And if it doesn't happen at plus 700, we'll just keep firing away at small percentages.
Real quick, guys, don't forget the like button. Leave us a comment. Tell us your favorite prop here. Steve, week 2, anytime touchdown. Let's start with Kyren Williams.
This is my top touchdown scorer for this week. I love him. He scored 2 touchdowns in both weeks, but that's not really the reason why I love him so much. It's the Bengals rush defense. They've given up the most yards, second most yards per game, 192 a game. We've seen them allow touchdowns to Deshaun Watson and Gus Edwards. I know Watson's a quarterback, but and he just doesn't have any running back competition. And this is a game where we could see the Rams leading. Justin Jefferson, it goes back to being a shootout. This guy has so much production, 20 receptions, 309 yards, no touchdowns in a shootout this week against the Chargers, who they allow the most yards per game. I'm looking at Jefferson getting the job done this week at plus 105. You get a little bump at the plus money there. And then Pollard, he's negative 175, but I feel like he's worth a potential parlay piece, or you'll see in the pay dirt parlay, you can use him there. He had 2 touchdowns against the Giants, fell short against the Jets, but here's the thing with him. He's had 12 carries inside the 10-yard line, which is twice as many as any other player in the NFL. And the game script favors Pollard running down the stretch here. We've seen the Cardinals give up 3 running back touchdowns. Barkley caught 1 through the air, and Pollard has 7 receptions on 11 targets. So he gets the job done through the air. Zach Ertz, this is one that's a little bit of a long shot because he hasn't scored a touchdown yet, but he's had so much usage. We talked about him earlier. He had 6 receptions in both games so far, and 70% of the snaps. And, no digs with this one. I think I misspoke earlier and said that the Cowboys had given up touchdowns to tight ends. They haven't yet, but he's gotten 28 targets for the Cardinals here to the tight ends. So Ertz should get plenty of usage in this game, and at plus 60, he's worth a sprinkle.
And we're going to put Kyren Williams, Justin Jefferson, and Tony Pollard. Get you pretty close to 6-1 there. So I think we've had 2. Well, we had 2 out of 3.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 both weeks. Yeah, we had McCaffrey both weeks, and then and he got the job done. We had Barkley 1 week and Dobbins 1 week. They got the job done. It was Jacobs that fell short, and Jahmyr Gibbs fell short. But these 3 mixed together, I love these 3, and Kyren Williams would be the top play out of the touchdown field this week for me.
All right, those are your anytime touchdown props. We're getting ready to give out our 3 favorite best bets for today. Don't forget to get our 5% play. That is up at WagerTalk.com. It's going to come with all of our official plays for today. All right, guys, 3 best bets. These are ones that we have talked about today. I'm going with Deshaun Watson over 30.5 pass attempts. You've heard me talk about this a million times. He's got a great matchup. There's no Nick Chubb. I think he's going to have to throw it a lot. Any of those throwaways where he gets pressured, any of those short screen passes, they all count. Give me over 30.5 pass attempts as my best bet. Corbin, you're going with your alt line parlay, correct?
Yep, indeed. Again, I've already mentioned it, but I expect the Cowboys and Chiefs to run away with it. So even if somehow they trip up and they only win by a field goal, then you get your money back. So, and the Rams plus 10 against Joe Burrow, who knows what state he's going to be in, but even if he plays, he hasn't looked sharp. So, yeah, that's my best bet.
And, Steve, you're going with Kirk Cousins. Love that game to be a shootout, and they're certainly not getting it done on the ground. They're getting it done through the air. So you're going with Kirk Cousins over his passing.
Yeah, he's crushed the total in both of his games, 344, 364. We talked about it being a shootout, highest total of the week, and the Chargers haven't been able to stop the pass. I can't imagine that they're going to get it done today against Cousins.
All right, so there's your 3 best bet. Deshaun Watson over pass attempts. Corbin's alt line parlay with the Cowboys -3, Chiefs -3, Rams +10. Steve's going with Kirk Cousins over 292 passing. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us on the Road to Millions. Great week, everyone. We got an incredible 5% best bet that goes off tonight in Sunday Night Football. Remember, don't overextend yourselves. You don't need to make all of the money in one fell swoop. So it's a long season. So I hope everyone does really, really well today. We will be back tomorrow with my surprise guest interview. Coincides with the TV show whose 52nd season starts tomorrow. 52nd season.
Wow.
There's a little teaser. So, all right, guys, good luck on all your plays. Don't forget to hit the like, leave us your survivor pick and your best bet in the comments section. Good luck. We will see everyone tomorrow on the Road to Millions.
Good luck.